Hey there everyone, this is Jeremy, the Music Andy, and I'm here today to talk to you about Jettison from And So I Watch You From Afar. This is post-rock, math rock, coming from Belfast, United Kingdom. We got 4 members in this, 2 guitar players, a bass player, and a drummer. Your classic modern post-rock assembly. This is a band I found when I was first getting into post-rock. I was looking for more atmospheric, building songs that crescendoed, and they had orchestral instruments in them. Think Godspeed You Black Emperor, Sigur Bark Psychosis, Talk Talk, that kind of bands. Then I started finding bands like Toe, Do Make Say Think, Red Sparrows, Pretend, and I saw that post-rock is a lot of the time mixed with another genre, that being, math rock, jazz rock, emo, psychedelic, and then it can really go with those darker elements of post-hardcore and metal, and that's kind of where And So I Watch You From Afar was for me when I was first listening to them. They had a lot of that post-hardcore. They were very angsty, very aggressive with how they played, a lot of tones being switched in, kind of firing, screeching guitars going on. When I first listened to that album, the self-titled album, their first album, it was an experience that I didn't like as much because I wasn't into music as much as I am now. A lot of the genres that I've come to love, I love seeing them combined and played with. And so going back onto that album, I really liked it. I didn't think it was anything groundbreaking, but I thought it was a pretty solid album altogether. I really didn't go dig into the other albums from them just because I could see the reception on a lot of them not being that good. And I figured, with doing a review channel, why not do their latest one right now? So let's just jump right into this new album from them, Jettison. With soft hands gently laying on a keyboard, this album welcomes the idea that I was trying to find back when I was first getting into post-rock. There's a nice atmosphere going on here. There's some rich textures going on here. There's strings that are gently bowed. There's spoken word vocals talking about the disconnection of a loved one, and then later in life reconnecting and thinking about all that missed time between those moments that you've last seen each other. Dive Part 2 serves as an extension of this song, which is the next track on this. It gives a nice groove to the atmospheric feel that's been going on, and it's a very pleasant song all the way through. Dive Part 2 serves as an extension from the first track. Obviously, it is the part 2 of it. It adds a more danceable groove to the atmospheric feel that was going on the first track. Almost feels like Sufjan Stevens if he went to make post-rock music. This is super fun. It's pleasant on my ears. There's some nice progressions and transitions going on, making it so I can have some memorable pieces after this album's done. I know it's cliche of a post-rock ending song to have just delayed guitars kind of being layered on top of each other, but I think it's done very nicely with the string section added above it. Long, the next track, has the band kind of returning back to the original album, being a lot more math in approach, but I was counting this, and I might just be completely zonked out of my mind, but I was just counting 8/8 the entire time, which really isn't that mathy, but they were giving it a very disjointed mathy feel with the way that they were playing the 8/8. In Air returns the spoken word that was at the beginning of this album, kind of re-emphasizing a lot of points that it was saying, and this song moves a lot more like a Do Make Say Think song. It has a lot of climbs that have swells at the tops, and then they gently come back down, having a lot of transitions and quirky moments doing it. The beginning of this song, though, it really didn't grab me as much. The guitar melody that's going on and the rhythm section that's going on is not grabbing me as much, but again, once it gets to that mid-section and it has that kind of ebb and flow, it is a super nice song. Hold, the next track, is a very scaled back song compared to the rest of the album that has been played so far. It really feels like I'm listening to them from 5 blocks away, and I have my ear pressed up against the door just trying to hear what's going on with this band. That's not to say that this is done in bad taste or anything. It's just so contrasting compared to the very clean, direct production that has been going on so far on the album. Submerge really takes pieces from the band that I thought I knew going into this album. We have some fast screaming guitars that ultimately cry at the end of their lines, kind of having a nice scaled down fill section. We have some angular guitars being chopped into this. And overall, the guitars are letting one show off and then another show off, and then they kind of have a little duet and play with each other, have a little dance going on. I will say though that the journey to get to these moments that I had previously thought that the band only really did are a lot more gentle, minimal in approach, and I think it's done very well. There's this moment that the drummer goes completely insane, having a little blast beat section, and I wish it was something that the band entertained a little bit more, but again, it was nice when it lasted at least. Submerge is a fast driving track that really feels completely out of place on this album. If it's just here to pump you up, just throw it into one of the songs at the end, or just get it into the mix to feel a lot more organic. It just feels a little forced from the band. Then we have the self-titled track, Jettison, and what it does is it takes a lot of the elements that have been going on in the album so far and just puts them all together and makes the longest track of the album, though it only being 6 minutes long. Some moments of the song almost sound like a pop-punk song, kind of starting up, a little bass gallop and drum section going on, but for the most part, the guitars and strings that are weaving between each other kind of cut out this feeling. This isn't the best track on the album, which is a shame since it is the self-titled, since it is the longest track on this one, but I still think it is well done. It's still a fun song to listen to, and I think it's a nice playoff. And I know I say playoff, and there's one more track on this, but that's really not a track that feels very exclusive to the band. It's just a string section performance, and from what I understand, that none of these members play strings, so it's a bit of an odd playoff. It doesn't really take anything, but it doesn't really give you anything either. Altogether, I thought it was a pretty solid album from the band. Nothing really blew me away, but the front half of this section was very engaging compared to the back half, which is very odd because that was a lot more aggressive and busy in sound. Still though, I'm glad that I stopped to listen to this album. I thought there were some very good moments into it, and it's nice to see the band 13 years later and how they sound. I'm thinking 6.6 binoculars out of 10. What did you think of this album? What albums would you like me to review in the future? Please leave a comment below and let me know. Subscribe if you like the content, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you.